Nada Rizkallah in her session of mastering the art of change and business disruption. Thank you.
مفتوح. Hello everyone. I'm very glad to be with you today. Ramses, you made it very difficult for me to keep everybody so engaged like you did here. So I'm happy though that you prepared, if you want, all the floor and the minds to what's coming next. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Nada Awad Rizkallah. I'm coming from Lebanon. I'm coming to represent the DCRO Institute from Ohio, USA. I am on their advisory board, and I co-chair the leadership circle for the MENA region. I'm an expert in banking and finance with over 3 decades of banking experience, risk governance, and compliance. The value that I add is to the board of directors, is basically, and to the board risk committees, is how to keep insightful enterprise risk management, but how to embrace risk in a positive way, and to add value sustainability to the board decision making. This year, I have done the Harvard Business School for corporate director, succeeding as a corporate director, and I hope that I can bring some of my new experience also to this amazing group of people. What we will cover basically today is how practical measures are done to help the boards to navigate basically the business disruption framework that Ramsey described so well, the volume, the variance, the velocity, and how you as board members and leaders, you can add the finals V with HD value. Okay, I did it well. Okay, so these are basically the table of content that we will cover. And as we have seen, we are all embracing a very rapid change, and changes everywhere in the business disruption. Whether we are in the banks, we are in health, insurance, any business is being affected by the business disruption that is taking place. So this age requires that we are agile and forward-thinking to be able to manage all of these risks, and otherwise we cannot seize the opportunity. We are just seeing, enumerating the challenges, the risks, but what is important is to see how we can embrace opportunities out of all of this. So the major key drivers that we can see from the business disruption, we have seen artificial intelligence, technological advancement, which are coming at a very rapid pace, changing customer behaviors. We are all connected to the social media, so we have a lot of applications, lot of services, lot of products that are coming every day. So we need to see where we are going to make change, where we are going to show our brands in order to be able to have competitive advantage. If it's not coming from this, we are living in a world full of geopolitical, crisis management, economic uncertainty. We have seen, since Trump took over, we are seeing a major disruption of supply chain. How does it affect our third-party providers? What will happen? What are the supply chains that are going to affect us in our day-to-day business? So this is very critical for us to think about it, and not only to think, it's basically to act. So the climate change, sustainability, all the services that we are going to create or that we are creating, how do they respond to the challenging climate change, to the sustainability that we want to do? And with all the digital transformation that we are doing, we see the cyber attacks, the cyber security threats, the cyber security criminals. Like we are using artificial intelligence to accelerate our business models. They are also using the cyber and the artificial intelligence to enhance also the way they can make their attacks and threats and the criminality in the digital transformation arena that they have. And of course now, with all the changes, the rapidity that is taking place, they can see vulnerabilities quicker than we can do. They use AI in a criminal way, in a criminal mind, and a criminal objective. And major also issue is the talent management, the resources. Do we have the sufficient resources? Are we training people? Do we have resources around us that can keep up with all what's going on, with all the trends? Do we leaders have this mindset Are we ourselves keeping ourselves at the edge of learning, embracing learning, learning ourselves what's happening around us, or are we still with the old mindset that we have? On top of this, we have the regularity challenges, the compliance issues that we cannot also overlook. These are coming every day, and we see new regulations coming up for people are coming from Europe, America, USA. US maybe sometimes is deciding to discontinue working with EU laws. They decided every time a president is coming, they decide whether they are with the climate change. Tomorrow they are not with the climate change. Today they want to make disruption. Today they want to make war. Tomorrow we don't want to make war. Today we disrupt this. Tomorrow we disrupt that. So we are living in a world of high uncertainty, and definitely we need to keep up with this. The innovation, we have several types of disruption. We have the innovation disruption, which is coming basically from new technologies, from advancement, and from new business models. We have the process disruption. If we maintain our regular procedures the way they are, and we don't innovate, we make processes becoming more digital, more agile, then the minute we sell a product and we maintain the same procedures, the same bureaucracy that we have in our day-to-day, it will not work. The channel disruption, the social media. We cannot continue branding, making our social life, or maybe our social marketing, our branding, the same way we used to do it before. I have seen that 50% are bankers around, but we are seeing payment applications coming here. It's not anymore that like we take money, we lend money, and that's it. No, the revenues are not coming all from the interest revenue. You have a lot of commissions that are coming from a different perspective, and that you have to think of the part which is related to the revenues that are not only coming from the interest margins that you do on the savings of people. So this is very important to see what are the major components of your profitability, of your services that you need to really add. And then you see something which is very important. Your customers, or the customers, the population that needs something more agile. We as bankers, we are not agile. We have to admit this. If we want to build a product, we need a full process. We need the risk. We need the change management. We need the procedures to be there. We need hundreds of approvals, hundreds of meetings before we have one product going out to the market, before we have one service going out to the market. And this model is not only maybe for banks, maybe for insurance. I am not an expert in insurance, but I know it's the same. So this is very important. The businesses, the application, the payment application, we have seen this in Lebanon. When we had the financial crisis, I can assure you that we had mushrooming more than 12 companies that have mushroomed, that they have taken the business of banks. And I can assure you that the same is happening also in Egypt. You have a lot of payment application. You just can pay, transfer in 1 minute, no value date, no fees, less fees, no fees for cards, cardless operations, digital transactions that can happen in seconds, fractions of minutes. Are we there? Are we going to survive? This is a major business disruption, and the boards are responsible. You leaders are responsible not just to think of the elephant which is in the room. You are responsible to act, otherwise nothing will happen. The same way we see here the average business survival rate. We have seen that new businesses that start, if you see 10 years, only 34% can survive business and cannot fail. But we cannot think of that as new business. We should think of ourselves as we are new business now, because there are new businesses in the arena, new businesses in the market. And we have to act as if we are a new business. And if we cannot continue to innovate, we are not going to survive. Maybe in the coming 2 years, 3 years, we are out of the market. So this is very critical, because you see 9 out of 10 startups fail. 7.5 of 10 venture-backed startups also fail. Only 1% startup become unicorn, like we see in Uber, Airbnb, Slack, Stripe, and Docker, and other organizations. We have seen, for instance, Careem during the COVID, they converted their business. Everybody was at home. And maybe people who live in Dubai or other places where they use Careem, I don't know if it is used in Egypt, they have converted into service provider. They started transporting. So this was the importance of quick decision, of agility, and changing the business model immediately, and then they reacted. So that's why I come here. What is innovation culture? Do you have an innovation culture in your organizations? Any organization. It's the way people think which determines the way they act. So if you are going to think the same way that you used to think before, is going to be the same. So the action will be determined by the way people and leaders, the way they think, and this will determine either the failure or the success of the company. And when you are thinking positively, you have to communicate with your people. They have to understand where you want to reach. You have to determine how well the company can communicate and execute its innovation strategy. I have something good for you. Innovation can be developed, and it can be learned. And also, it needs to be evaluated, and there are steps taken in order to develop the innovation culture. And here, there is a responsibility on the boards of directors. Boards of directors are not here to just come the traditional way, bring their papers, read their papers, or maybe they don't read them, 500 pages. I don't know how can they read them. So the board members come and just listen to the story of the chairman. That's it. We eat our dessert, we eat our sweets, we make some jokes, and we just leave the boardroom. No. The boardroom mind has to be changed. We have changing the ways we think. How can we do that? We are all coming, we are all 50s plus. Maybe I am not, maybe I'm younger, I don't know. Old rules and mindset. So before the school that we are all coming from, this is the old rules. We do a product that meets the need in the marketplace at the right price, market condition. You manage your operations with cost optimization. You create a long-term path for your employees based upon trust and loyalty. You earn profit and produce shareholder value. You manage risk, create long-term sustainability and growth for shareholders, and you focus on profitability. But sometimes you do all of this at the expense of innovation and forgetting the business disruption. So these are the traditional way. We do that, but we forget what are the major risks that are coming now, and which is the new mind that you think and the agility. We do a business plan for 5 years. How can you predict 5 years if you are not agile and you keep on changing immediately and making agile decisions? So the new DNA and the new rules and mindset is to have return-driven strategy immediately, a framework where you can be acting agile. So what decisions do you take? How do you decide which product, which service, what are you going to sell? It has to be your daily decisions have to be commensurate with your strategic plan. Some people, this morning I was watching CNN and I saw somebody asking one chairman, how can you survive? How do you make revenues when you sell your product for free? He told her, we are making $4 billion from selling for free. Why? Because they have other products that they can sell, advanced plus membership, etc., because they attract the people. You have thousands of applications. How are you going to differentiate things? How can you move fast and break things culture? You have to stay agile. And build the product, and profitability is going to come, but you have to decide which product can differentiate you. Don't own anything. You have seen Uber, Kareem, Airbnb, they have products of multi-billion dollars, and they don't own anything. They don't have assets. So it was the idea. And we have seen that only 1% succeed, not everybody. And you have a lot of rules and regulations. How are you going to act quickly and circumvent all of those rules and regulations in a quicker way? So identify what are your customer targets. See what are the unmet customer needs. What is not being sold. And then if you want to focus your sales strategy to make money, you want to see whether this is sustainable. Is this need going to be sustainable, or tomorrow it's going to be going? So business disruption, to be able to be abreast, what you have to do practically, you have to keep abreast of the emerging trends. What are the emerging technologies that are coming up? What are the competitors doing? What can you do better? Analyze the moves and see what products they are launching. You cannot do a product and then there is another competitor in the market which is doing a product better than you. So you have to immediately react. Customer feedback. Listen to your customers. I don't know why you have call centers. And do you ever see the data? When you have artificial intelligence, does anyone in the boardroom, look at the data of the feedback that is coming from the customers, from the call center. You have maybe a population of 24, I don't know how many, 48 people listening to people asking, or now you have more artificial intelligence when you want to ask somebody, they will ask you 1,000 questions and you see AI answering. No, no, and then you see answers to the AI because they don't know how to answer you at the end of the day. Then you end up saying, I want to talk to someone. Have you ever witnessed this? Yes. You put AI to respond as help desk, but they never respond. You finish desperate and you just leave the company. You decide to go somewhere else where somebody can give you a better service. This is very quick. And then the regulatory changes, keeping abreast of the new regulations and anticipate what could be the potential disruption to what you are doing. If you are selling a service that is not compatible, for instance, with sustainability, and the regulations are coming around you with sustainability regulations, next day you will not be able to sell your service. So be careful on what you are creating and have it integrated since the beginning. So the importance of adaptability within the organization. Since we know now that continuous change is the new normals, you have to be ready to be able to pivot quickly and embrace the new opportunity. Seize the emerging opportunities, enhance innovation, compare competitive advantage, and have employee engagement in the innovation mindset. So you have to encourage also your employees, communicate with them, let them give the ideas, let them be part of the problem solving because they are on the ground. They know what's happening. Let them contribute to this. Navigating the disruption journey is a 5-step framework. Scan the environment, and see what are the competitors' activities, as we said, the customer needs. Analyze, assess the potential impact of disruption on your business. When you identify around you what's going on with the opportunities and threats, we have always learned to do SWOT analysis, but try to do it in a more agile way. The SWOT analysis has to be done like maybe every week, every minute, I don't know. We have to be more agile. We have to be careful. Board members cannot come to the boardroom and don't know what is the product that their organization sell. They have to go and ask questions. They have to go into the market, ask questions also, see the leaders, coordinate with the executives, ask people to come and discuss with them. They cannot only listen to one member at the level of the board and hear the story that wants them to be provided to them. This is very important. And innovate, explore new ideas and technologies. So how can we deliver better services? How can we better engage our customers? And how can we implement our strategies? So powerful means will mean maximum efficiency. There is something very important at the organization level. How can you decentralize the decision-making to empower teams? Because we need to respond quickly. Okay, we need to have risk management. I was discussing this morning also with some people on the breakfast, and they were telling me that we have problems because we are coming cybersecurity responsible CISO, and you have the IT. And we see that they want to go with the product. You have this battle between, okay, do we do enough security? We do the penetration test. Did we do enough before we launch a product? And the business people want to finish immediately with IT, and they want to launch the product. Why don't you work together? It's a teamwork. It's a teamwork. And if you want to do risk and you don't know the business, you cannot also be as agile in the decision-making process. And if you want to make business and you are not also teaming up and understanding risk, you are the first line of business, you are the first line of control of risk management. So risk governance has to be all integrated, embedded, and all the people have to understand the same risk culture within the organization. So you have to cultivate a culture of continuous learning at all the level of the organization. You have to stop the silos. I think in Ramses' presentation, we have how many pillars do we have? How much we have to learn? We cannot become expert in all of this. Maybe we have an expert here, expert there. But if people don't team up together and learn from each other experience and sit together to face or maybe to make a problem solving, but problem solving is not like to ruminate it. It's to come up with a positive result, to see how we make the best. We can never stop risk. We are not here to stop embracing risk. If we want to embrace it, let's stay at home. If a car comes out, it will make an accident. There is a probability. So something will happen. We cannot avoid everything. It's not like risk avoidance. We see how much we can make a mitigation of the risk, but we still need to make business. So invest in technology that enables data-driven decision-making, real-time performance tracking, and rapid prototyping, and build strong relationships as well with internal partners, as well with external partners, to complement skills that you might be missing. We see that the major challenges, if we look, it's innovation culture, sustainable innovation, entrepreneurship. It's over than 52%, the major challenges which is coming from a survey. And this is basically what are the challenges in business disruption: culture, sustainable innovation, how much you can continue with sustainability, and how much you have an entrepreneurship mind in your organization. And others are all there, the risk, but these are the major ones. They constitute the major challenges for an organization to survive. So what are the best tips? Define the strategic objective, identify internal and external collaboration, define the framework, engage in knowledge exchange, evaluate ideas, integrate and develop, and commercialize and implement. This is, if you want, a summary of all the reasons of failures to innovate, which we have discussed. Fear of taking risk, lack of market orientation, failure to scale, poor organizational structures, wrong decisions, lack of internal communication, and low priority for innovation. So basically, what are some tips to counter these challenges? Systemic drive for improvement, leverage AI, shift to long-term focus, but at the same time, be agile, incorporate the scenario planning into your regular strategic reviews, reframe foresight as a strategic necessity, make scenario planning to see what the business disruption can affect your companies, and implement a no-blame culture. You have to tolerate, if people are trying, if they are making research and development, you have to tolerate new services, new experiments, but at the same time, you should not tolerate incompetency. You can experiment something which will fail, but at the same time, you cannot tolerate to have incompetence, but at the same time, you must have a disciplined experimentation, which means that you take into consideration the risk and compliance in the framework, in the build itself. To make this, you need to have dedicated innovation teams. You cannot keep them working bureaucratic transactions and work, and then at the same time ask them to innovate. It cannot work. Provide access to the latest technologies, research, and industry experts. You have to give them the time also to learn, to attend new webinars, to train them, etc. Implement a reward system that gives them incentive to make innovation, and encourage the risk-taking, rewarding success, and learning from failure. We have lessons learned. When we do something and we fail, we should not blame. We should learn from what we did wrong, and create a culture that celebrates innovation. When you do something good, celebrate it, even if it's a small thing. Let people know that you have done something good, and let them embrace this so that other people will do also the same. We have seen several companies failed. I will not go through this. We have seen Orascom, Kodak, BlackBerry, all are failures. And what we have seen also Orascom in Egypt, which disappeared. And basically, what was this? Lack of agility. They had competitive pressures, and they were over-relying on existing technologies. The same happened that we have seen what is the effect, financial disruption, and they were taken over in 2011. This is a company in Egypt. I am not talking about something which is not happening in our part of the world. Other things, you had BlackBerry, who didn't use a BlackBerry some time back, and it disappeared because they overlooked the shift between touch screens, which was iPhone, was coming very slowly, and suddenly they took all the market. Kodak, they were the first one who created digital photography, but at the same time, they ignored it, and they relied too heavily on film sales, and they failed to transition. All of these and other companies, other very large organizations failed before because of business disruption. So you as board members, as leaders, you cannot overlook the risk of business disruption. When I say business disruption, like you do crisis management, you have to think of scenarios where you are business disrupted. It has to be part of your crisis management. You have to see what is going to disrupt you and maybe have special sessions to think it over. What are you going to do? What are the changes that you need to embrace at the level of the whole organization, at the level of the board, at the level of your day-to-day actions? We have seen also companies that have succeeded like Amazon, Tesla, Netflix, and these are because they managed to adapt. How did they innovate without going broke? It's also very important that you don't invest large scale without knowing where are you going. So it's very important because here Amazon, why they are still in the market? Because it's not like today, we have seen in the chart, startup finish after 10 years, they disappear, most of them, you have only 30% which survive. Same for a company like Amazon, same for Tesla, same for Netflix. They disrupted businesses which were going on for years and years. And we are going to see this much more accelerated. The innovation is going much faster now. So what are the challenges for leaders and the boards? The internal challenges, resistance to change. This has to be accompanied by change management procedures. People have to communicate with them and tell them what there is in this for you, why it's good for us, for the organization, and why it's good for them. Balancing short-term goals with long-term innovation. We also have inadequate risk governance structures. We risk manager, I am a chief risk officer. I have been maybe for over like 20 years. But if we don't provoke ourselves, we don't challenge ourselves, there is artificial intelligence that can do our jobs very quickly. So let's act human. Let's use our intelligence. Use this artificial intelligence tools to see how we can build it in an effective way to help us quickly. Rather than bringing people who can do redundant work, let them do the quantitative work for us and let us do the thinking, where we can do something which is more valuable to create, to embrace risk more positively, to add better guidance for the board risk committees. This is our role. We cannot continue to act in our traditional role. Like the business people, like risk compliance governance, virtual CISO, we all have to change the mindset. It's not only at the level of the board. Leadership, it's at all the level. And you have the external challenges. Rapid technological advancement, regulatory framework. So you have to see how you are going to adapt. Sometimes you need to partner with new companies or maybe acquire new companies. Otherwise, you are acquired yourself if you have value. If not, you will be disrupted and your value will be zero. Competition from disruptive startups. This is where a lot of startups are being acquired. A lot of people start being startups with the objective is to be acquired. They create a business. The challenge, I mentored startups. I mentor a lot of startups. And I see that I have zero knowledge of risk, zero knowledge of governance, zero knowledge of cybersecurity, or maybe enough cybersecurity governance. So this is very important to see how you can team up. Learn how they are agile, because we are not agile. It takes us too much time to develop something. Take their ideas, help them, and help yourself to become more agile, maybe in doing some partnership with valuable startups. Changing the customer expectation. Act fast. Do something more personalized with seamless experience when you say the customer-centric information. The cultural barriers are very important. Cybersecurity risks. This is also very important because we have to embrace the cybersecurity, as I've said at the beginning, artificial intelligence is here to stay. And it's being used also to disrupt businesses, technological risk, digital transformation efforts. I have put here some questions. I'm not going to read them all. You can maybe get the presentation. These are questions. The board of directors are not here just to be sitting. They have to ask the question. They're not experts in everything. Maybe they should get experts on the board. You cannot guess all the time. We see that finance, you have maybe people coming from some business. You don't have people coming from risk. You don't have CIOs. You don't have technical people. When we talk diversity, I am not only talking about gender diversity at the board level. I don't talk about gender diversity. We need gender diversity, of course, but I need about skills diversity at the level of the board, about asking the right questions. What are the right questions that you need to ask? So what is disrupting our company? These are discussions that the board of directors have to ensure. What are the strategies that our board is employing to be able to measure that we are having the right strategies at the level of the board? What are the critical elements of successful succession in the context of business disruption? And this is another series of questions that the board have to ask. What are the strategies can we employ to ensure risk governance practices are aligned with the global standard and best practices? How can our board leverage AI and other advanced technologies to enhance decision making, etc.? What are the most effective ways to communicate risk-related issues to stakeholders? How can we maintain value? So when are the implications of regulatory challenges on current risk governance, and how can we adapt and at the same time stay valuable? I will directly go to the end. I think that we need to establish key performance indicators towards our strategic goals, the number of new ideas that are being submitted to project launch, percentage of revenue allocated, because if we have a service, do we measure that this service is providing good return for the company? Average take-home, how much it takes to develop a service, how much it takes to have it sold in the market. Sometimes it takes 8 months, so already some other companies have already sold the service, the product in a better. How much it contributes to the percentage revenues? What is the employee perception on this? The number of strategic partnership formed to drive innovation. What is the return on investment on new product and service investment, and average time taken to respond to business disruption? And then we need to have a regular review our performance metrics, the financial performance, operation. This we go to the traditional way, customer metrics, employee performance, market competitive position review, risk management reviews, innovation and growth reviews, and technology transformation. The conclusion, the key takeaways and recommendation for next step. This is maybe make a summary of all the presentation. Number 1, embrace change. And then I say again, innovation culture can be learned. Cultivate a culture of curiosity, agility, and experimentation to navigate the dynamic landscape of disruption. Invest in innovation. Keep investing and allocating proper resources, whether at the level of human resources, of infrastructure, and create incentives for innovation at the level of your organization, driving new ideas and solutions, and continue the evaluation. Stay agile, develop organizational flexibility, embrace continuous learning, and leverage the data-driven decision-making. And I conclude with board members play a key role in doing all of this. You leaders play a key role in this. I want to thank you for this. And as a token of appreciation from the DCRO Institute and from David Koenig, we would like to offer you a 70% discount for all the people living in Egypt, not only for the GRC Summit. And this is for 3 months. The Qualified Risk Director assessment is included in the registration for the full certificate and risk governance program that we do. It's a program which is worth $5,000. We are offering it at maybe $1,300 for Egypt, for the GRC Summit, and for any persons that you know in Egypt in special gift from the DCRO Institute. Here is the link for the 70% discount, valid until April 30. On top of that, we decided to provide also a free access to the Introduction to Risk Governance course, which is valid through March 31st, up to 50 people. So it will be on first come, first serve for all of you. And I would like to thank you for inviting me again for the GRC Summit. And I look forward to discussing with all of you and to learning from all of you. And I would like also to thank Ramses for having put the mood for the mindset. And I hope that my presentation was also helpful for you, to add some value for you, and maybe to change a little bit from the practical step and the mindset that you can do at the level of your leadership and at the level of your board of directors. Thank you very much. Any questions? I'm open also to answer your questions.